Hi guys. Sorry for my finger in your view. I'm just gonna wait here for a hot second before I start kids story time. Please let me know if you can't hear me so I can figure out something. But we're here. We are gonna learn with the kids. We have a craft and it's gonna be a good time. So I'm just gonna wait another minute or two before I get started. By the way, everyone, I'm Chrissy. I'm one of the kids leaders for Kids Club on Wednesday nights at the church. And so I'm just going to be following along with kind of the lessons that I teach there every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I might change it up a little bit and see how it goes. So you can look for it on here all those times at 10:30. Elizabeth does it on Wednesday mornings at 10:30 on the Clyde Park Little Lamb Story Hour Facebook page, so you can look for it on there. But yeah, so I'm just gonna wait another minute or two. I'm sorry if you hear snoring or things from my dog in the background, but that's where we're at. Hope everyone's staying healthy. And no, sorry, I don't speak French. I wish I could. That'd be awesome. But today we're going to talk about the story of Moses, baby Moses. So our lesson is going to be out of Genesis 2. Hi, Diane. Can everyone hear me? Can someone tell me if you can actually hear me? I'm doing this off of my phone because I'm in my 20s and don't have a computer of my own. Perfect. Thanks, Anna. Okay, so today we are going to talk about baby Moses. And in our lessons, when I am on here and teaching, there's always going to be a big idea. So our big idea today is God has a plan for every person. So throughout our story, we're going to learn that God has that big plan for us, okay? So after Joseph was reunited with his brothers, so Elizabeth talked about yesterday Joseph in the coat of many colors. So this is after that story. So Joseph moved his whole family to Egypt. They lived a long time and had many children. They were called Hebrews or the Israelites, and after many years, a new Pharaoh became king who did not remember the great things that Joseph had done. He did not like the Israelites and decided to do something awful. So, question for you guys, for all you kids out there, have you ever thought about what it would be like to be a prince or a princess? So think about that. Think about your favorite prince or princess to kind of think about what it would be like to be them. So there's Cinderella, there's Prince Navid, there's Aladdin, there's Jasmine, there's Elsa, there's Anna, wow, I'm blanking on all the princes in all those stories. But think about what the best part of being one of those prince or princesses would be. Would it be the house? Would it be the animals? Would it be kind of all the people? So just think about that. Think about what it would be like to be them. Because in our Bible story today, Moses became a prince of Egypt when he was just a baby. The king of Egypt, Pharaoh, did not like that there were so many Israelites, and he was afraid that one day they might decide to start a war against the Egyptians. So Pharaoh commanded that all the baby boys be thrown into the Nile River. Let's hear what one woman did when she heard this command. So we're going to read out of Exodus 2, 1 through 10, where it says, "There was a man from the family of Levi. He married a woman who was also from the family of Levi. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She saw how wonderful the baby was, and she did hide him for 3 whole months. But after 3 months, she was not able to hide the baby any longer. So she got a basket and made of reeds and covered it with tar so that it would float." So kids, do you know what a basket looks like? Do you guys have baskets at your houses? Just think of a baby floating in water in one of those baskets. So she put the basket in the tall grass at the edge of the Nile River. The baby's sister stood a short distance away, and she wanted to see what would happen to him. Then the daughter of the king of Egypt came to the river. She was going to take a bath. Her servant girls were walking beside the river. She saw the basket in the tall grass, so she sent her slave girl to go get it. The king's daughter opened the basket and saw that there was a baby boy inside. He was crying, and she felt so sorry for him. She said, "This is one of the Hebrew babies." Then the baby's sister asked the king's daughter, "Would you like me to find a Hebrew woman to nurse a baby for you?" The king's daughter said, "Yes, please." So the girl went and got the baby's own mother. The king's daughter said to the woman, "Take this baby and take care of him for me. I will pay you." So the woman took her baby and took care of him. After the child had grown older, the woman took him to the king's daughter. She adopted the baby as her own son. The king's daughter named him Moses because she had pulled him out of the water. So, God has a plan for every person, just like he had a plan for Moses in our story. And Moses was saved and taken into the palace to be raised as royalty, so as a prince. Someday, Moses would become a great leader of God's people. And tomorrow we're going to talk about how Moses became a great leader of God's people. So, like I said earlier, God has a plan for all of us. And God's plan for Moses was to become a prince. How cool is that? So, we're going to do a craft. And I have 2 different options to do it. Because I don't have any kids of my own, and so I had to go and borrow things from the church because I didn't have like construction paper or glue at my house. So I'm going to give you guys 2 different ways to do the craft, okay? So we're going to make our own little baskets with baby Moses inside, okay? So the first one is if your parents have a paper plate at the house, okay? So you have a paper plate, and if you guys are old enough, or ask your parents to cut it in half for you, okay? And then color each one brown, because we're going to make a basket, and baskets are usually brown, but really you can make it whatever color you want. You can make it your favorite color. I know yesterday some of you guys said it was red and blue and pink and yellow. So you can make your basket any color you want. But I made mine brown like a lot of baskets we have. Okay? And then I need you guys to take a piece of paper. It can be whatever color. And make a circle. Okay? So this circle is going to be baby Moses. Okay? So once you make your circle, and since it's going to be baby Moses, we have to make a face on him because it would be kind of weird to not have a face on the baby, right? So, I'm just going to make a little smiley face. I know it's not really, doesn't really look like a baby, but so you can kind of know that it's going to be baby Moses. I'll put some hair at the top, kind of like that. I know it's kind of goofy looking, but it will work. So, you have your plate and you colored it, okay? So, what you need to do is glue or tape or have your parents staple the two pieces together, okay? So it kind of looks like this in the back to make a little basket, okay? I'm going to tape mine together so that we can kind of see what the basket looks like, okay? So you see that? And then you want to take your little baby Moses. It's kind of a big baby Moses, and you just want to kind of tape them or glue them or to the back of the thing so you can kind of see his head popping out of the basket, okay guys? And then I just cut out some green grass, so kind of little sticks of grass, whatever shapes. You can do it on white paper and just kind of color it too green, because in our story they hid the basket in the reeds of the water, so the reeds are kind of like grass. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our little grass and we're just gonna kind of tape it down so you can kind of see that the basket is kind of in the leaves and kind of in those reeds that we talked about in our story. So let me do that real quick. And kind of like this. So we have our little baby Moses in his little basket, about to go floating down the river. So this is the first way you can do it. The other way is you can take blue construction paper, or you can just take white paper and have your kids color it blue, just kind of like the river. And then you can cut out your own little basket, or out of like brown construction paper, or like I did here, I just kind of colored a white piece of paper brown. And then kind of glue it here on the blue, so it's kind of floating down the river, see? So we're going to do that real quick. Okay, so I have my basket kind of floating down the river. And like our last one, we have our little baby Moses. So I'm going to put baby Moses in the basket. So little baby Moses in the basket. We got to draw our little he's going to be smiling it. Big smiles in this one. See, our little baby Moses, I guess he needs a nose, right? Okay, so we got a little baby Moses. Got a little hair on the top. And he's just floating down the river. And then we had to add our reeds or our grass. Okay? So we're going to just kind of stick those in. And you can use, like I said earlier, you can use green construction paper. You can use white paper, have them color it green. Whatever you guys have available at home. And so you kind of have your little baby Moses in just a different way, like the first craft. So we can kind of show that he's kind of floating down the river. Okay. So, for our big kids, I have something for you. So, big kids. Little kids, you can do this too, but it might take some help from your parents. So, basket weaving is a very common thing they do in Egypt. So we're going to do our little own kind of simple basket weaving to kind of show you how they did it in Egypt. So what you need to do is take a piece of paper, okay, and just cut little strips going up. Don't go all the way up to the top because we got to stop it so that we can do the basket weaving. So just make all your little strips, okay? And I kind of started it up here a little bit. I know it's white paper and it's kind of hard to see. But what you're going to do is you're going to take this first strip and you're going to go over your next one and then under and then over and under and over and under and over. I did this with kind of poster board, so it's kind of hard to fold. If you do it with paper, it'd be a lot easier. But then you kind of just fold it on up, and so that you can kind of see what they did to make baskets back in Egypt, back in the day. I know people still use this to kind of make baskets as the time goes on, but so if you do it that way, you can kind of keep going down. So we'll go the next one. So you go over and then under and then over, under, over, under. So it kind of makes that cool looking design as like a little basket. Okay, so then you have like your little basket weaving piece of paper that you can kind of show. So to kind of recap what we talked about today, so our big idea is God has a plan for every person. And we talked about baby Moses being sent down the river by his mom and being found, and he became the prince of Egypt. And that's pretty cool because he came from a small little town and he was sent off and became this big prince because God has a plan for him. And tomorrow we're going to talk about that big plan of what Moses does in Egypt and what was sent there to do kind of while he's older. And tomorrow it's going to be a fun one, okay, guys? Tomorrow we're going to do some movement. We're going to kind of act some things out, kind of get silly. So join us tomorrow at 10:30 because we're going to get silly and we're going to kind of move around and act out some things so we can learn our story a little bit better, okay? And thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Bye.